All right, welcome back to Noise Avocation Podcast. Happy fucking January, I guess.
2024.
Yeah. I believe we said
Yay.
Happy New Year last episode, but so far the year looks pretty sweet for releases, like just from the couple months of things I've seen announced. There was some cool anniversary reissues coming out, like Typo Negative, Life is Killing Me. Like Public Image Limited's first album, and just a lot of like random oddities. There was like a collection of some Germs demos, and I've heard rumors of like a Behemoth album coming out and a Mastodon record and just all this other stuff. So hopefully 2024 pans out to be a good year in music releases, because
If it's anything like last year, man, it's gonna fucking be expensive.
yeah, I know. Because I remember, I think both of us at the beginning of last year said like we were trying not to spend as much as we normally do on records,
Yeah.
and that didn't happen.
Nope.
Actually, I think I spent more than I normally do because there was just so many good releases that came out, and I even missed some stuff. Like,
Oh yeah, dude. Even with all the money in the world, you'd never get to listen to it all anyway.
yeah, you have all the money, but not all the time.
Yeah.
One cool thing, like I did find, was we talk about this Stormkeep's first record. It took me forever to find that, and you got one too, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it took me a while to find that, and I'm sure if you're an Instagram metalhead, you might have seen this store by now, Blastbeats Vinyl. Their store always has the coolest metal oddities that you can find, like nowhere else. And a lot of times it's imported stuff from like overseas, and you know he has good prices on it. You don't have to pay the extra shipping. He's a great dude who takes pride in what he does. He makes your orders feel very personal. Like when you get them sent to you, there's a little thank you card and some stickers and this, that, and the other. And I order from there all the time. Jeremy orders from there as well. And they had that Stormkeep, the new Sulfur Eon record. They've got like some rare Cannibal Corpse Japanese press records. I mean, they stock a real good variety of metal stuff. And that's why we wanted to get him on the show to hear about his store. I wanted to call it a company there for a second. But
Label and
yeah,
whatever, but
I know,
yeah.
I almost said label again.
It's all good.
But yeah, I wanted to get him on here, talk about Blastbeats Vinyl and, you know, how it started and, you know, just what the store is all about in general. So before we jump into the interview in a second here, I just want to say go to the episode description, follow his Instagram, follow us on Instagram. You can find him on Facebook as well. And go to his website, blastbeatsvinyl.com, and like I said, if you're a metal person, I promise you'll find stuff there that you like. Jeremy, if you don't have anything else, I'm going
I
to
do
jump
not.
into the interview.
Enjoy.
So Amit from Blastbeats Vinyl, one, thank you for jumping on the show and taking the time to talk with us. We love your site. We order from it all the time.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Definitely was a surprise to see that like jump up your like label and you have like just crazy rare shit. It's awesome. So I'm really glad we get to talk to you.
Thanks, man. I'm really happy to be here. Thanks for asking me to come. I, usually don't think I have anything interesting to say, and you asked me, I'm like, that's cool.
Now, we like to get into not, you know, everybody interviews bands and stuff, and we do too. It's all fun, but we've interviewed like a couple like record labels and dealers and just stuff like that. Like anything, you know, music related we get into. So, I mean, your store as far as metal goes, to me, I don't know any other metal online metal store like that isn't just like a, you know, a metalbladerecords.com or something. That's just a stocked label.
Yeah, and that was one of the reasons why we started it to begin with. I really felt that there was a need, though, the need was personal. I felt, that I want to get my records, and I live in the suburbs. I live in Jersey in the suburbs, and I don't have any local record shop that's going to have metal. There is a one small record shop here they would get things if I order them, but I wouldn't be able to just go in and just flip through the records and ask for recommendations. That just doesn't exist. And, it will never exist because it will never make sense financially for anyone to open local all metal record stores in the suburbs. So I was trying to think, can we do this online somehow?
And a lot of people, for some reason, they don't get that. Like, oh, I'm sorry we don't have an obscure metal album, like you just said. It's like you can't just sit on that stuff forever in a brick and mortar store.
Yeah, you walk in, all of us walk into record stores. We love them. We love walking into them, and we always ask like, where is the metal section? And usually they send you to the back of the store. You you find one small bin, and if you find their suicidal tendencies, you're excited.
Right, right.
And at this point, that's been repressed so many times that it's really not that hard to find.
Yeah, exactly. And the selection is just part of it, right? It's you're trying to think about all the things that are important for vinyl collectors, especially metal, is, you want to buy from multiple labels at the same time. You want to get the best possible variants, but you also want to feel part of a community, and you also want to get your shit safely. You don't want them to get banged by, when Amazon ships their shit. You're always going to get something banged when it comes to vinyl.
Oh, yeah. I
So
never even
Yeah.
bother
We don't
ordering
fuck
from
with
Amazon.
Amazon.
I mean, one, because I own a record store, and to me, like, I'm trying to support other local businesses or independent businesses. And two, like, they just have terrible customer care as far as handling records go, because they're pumping out, everything in a day, not just packaging records. So it doesn't come to you how it should.
yeah, absolutely. And it just doesn't feel like you're part of something. I mean, I don't know about you guys, for me, my entire metal journey started at the record store. That's when I was much, much younger.
Right. Going back, like, to that, like, when did you first get into metal?
Uh, I guess, I'm in my 40s right now, and I got into metal, I want to say when I was around 11, 12, junior high school. I liked rock generally, back then it was 90s, so I liked Pearl Jam, I liked Nirvana and stuff like that. And I think mostly because I didn't know any metal. I wasn't exposed to it at all. I was maybe exposed a little bit to what was on MTV. So I remember one of my favorite bands back then was Ugly Kid Joe, when they released Everything About You, and I really love that. But the dime really dropped when I was actually walking next to a local record store, and they had speakers outside, and it played Moonspell. It was the release week of Wolfheart, and they played Love Crimes. And I'll never forget that song because it blew my mind. I had no idea such music existed. And I walk into the store, and there's a guy behind the counter, and I ask him, what is this? I love it. And he showed me, and I got the CD. It was CD, and I couldn't stop listening to it. And I went back into the store to the guy behind the counter, and I kept asking him, like, give me more. I need to know all of this. Just anything I want to know. And it was quite a journey with it. This guy, by the way, is still one of my best friends.
Oh, that's great.
Much older than me, but is really one of my best friends. We still talk about music all the time.
Is he still running a store?
He's working for a record label.
Okay. So he's
Uh,
still affiliated with.
Yeah, that's cool.
yeah, really cool. We keep, now with Blastbeats Vinyl, it's the first time ever that I'm able to somehow introduce him to some music. Took about 25 years, but
Yeah, so you're
That's
returning the
cool.
favor. The student has surpassed the master,
Right.
so to say.
I will never surpass him. But it's, once in a while, I'm able to introduce something that he likes
Right.
that he didn't know.
So, were you ever in any bands yourself or anything, or were you just a fan of metal in general?
I was in bands, very, kind of in high school, very mediocre guitar player. And I guess the first band I was in was a black metal band. I think you might even still find some of the recorded stuff. It's called Dalmerit's Kingdom. It was a black metal band. We were really bad. We had an amazing drummer, but everyone else were pretty bad. And then I was at Seek Irony, if you heard about the band.
I have not.
They still exist. They have they now the main guy there has a recording studio in Austin, Texas. But I was there when we were just kids, playing around, and the minute I left, they started having some success.
That's always the case, man.
And you know what? For the best, I think they got, like, after I left, they got a really talented guitar player, and they found their style, and they did what they love.
Yeah,
That's
you can't
cool.
hate on that, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Moonspell's what got you into metal then.
It's
Going,
Moonspell, and around the same time it was, Cradle of Filth released Principle of Evil Made Flesh, and I know, back then all the gatekeepers said it's not real black metal, but I love that album. I listened so much.
So many
But
people are introduced to black metal through that. Like, I don't care, you
yeah,
know,
that
people
Cradle of
talk
Filth
shit.
is
It's
that's how
like,
I found out about
exactly,
black
like,
metal was Cradle of Filth.
so, yeah.
yeah, look, I think this album is amazing. I still think it's the best Cradle of Filth. And finally, you have some artists, like Jake from Wadaf, said, I was inspired by Cradle of Filth Principle. You didn't hear that a lot from black metal bands.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, not until recently.
yeah, it's been enough time, I think, for
Well, I
people to
think it
realize.
yeah, it was like you said, the gatekeepers. So like if they wanted to be accepted as a quote unquote real black metal band,
It's
they were
so
like, we
fucking
can't
stupid.
say that we like Cradle of Filth because they'll shame us.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is stupid because I mean, they're one of the bands that were important for allowing black metal to be more obtainable, and I get that kind of goes against the people's original idea behind it, but whatever. Like if there's good music, like people are going to want to consume it.
Yeah, absolutely. Gatekeeping, like I hate gatekeeping. It's it's toxic. Um but I understand it. It's like the analogy to having an alcoholic father, right? It's either you're never gonna touch a drink or you're gonna become an alcoholic yourself. When you experience some sort of gatekeeping, it's either one day you're gonna grow up to be a gatekeeper yourself or you're gonna fight it.
Yep.
Yeah, we fight it, dude. I mean, I just think, like, now that you say that, it's something that maybe as you get older, you're kind of like, because when you're younger, I guess when you find like that metal band or whatever that band, and you think that, they're singing to you or they're playing for you or whatever that you think, and it's like, I just don't get why people want to keep that stuff to themselves. But maybe when you're younger, I kind of see it. But yeah, like around here, man, we're all about the more the merrier.
Yeah, I think it's not even that, it's take for example Sleep Token, right? Sleep Token makes people angry.
I personally don't care for that band style, but I'm not about to get mad about it either.
Yeah, and I think that's cool. It's about, like, if I don't like something, I just don't like it.
Right.
That's it. There's nothing else to it. It's, I don't like it. You move on. There's so much music. There's so many there's really and you also have a record, so you see how many releases
Oh yeah.
specific to
It's
metal every week. It's insane.
yep. And that's not even that's just metal. Like I mean, we do a little bit of everything. So I'm looking at 400 to 500 releases a week. So I got to go through this, that, and the other to figure out what I can sell, what might sell, what definitely won't sell, etc.
What's your process like when it comes to what you think's gonna sell? Well, I mean, I guess you would kind of know as a fan, eh?
That's part of the learning. Blast Beats vinyl opened only last March, and I don't come from any sort of background from selling records, right? It's all completely from scratch, no experience whatsoever. So I had to learn as I go. The process has been, there's some values first of all, right? So, most of the time I try to find the stuff that I just like. I just listen to stuff, and whether I like it or not, that's the first thing. I will check to see how many listeners it has on Spotify once in a while to see if I should get, 5 copies or 50 copies or something.
Right.
That makes sense.
But mostly that. And also, my favorite part is actually getting requests from people. Right. So the store has a Discord server with a very active community. I'm very active on social media as well. And I discover so much music through requests of people asking me, hey, I hear this and that, or going to release a new album. Are you going to have that? And I just want to go check it out, go listen, see if I like it, and I should be trying to get it.
I just noticed that about the Discord thing in the community, and that was another question I was gonna ask is that like you said, a very popular means of how you get your inventory then?
It's there's a lot of discussion on Discord between people that are very passionate. So first of all, I see what they talk about, right? And I participate. And it's also a trap because that the people on Discord are usually the most passionate collectors out there. And they like the wax mages of the world and the rare stuff, and they represent some of my clients, but not all of them, right?
Right.
And the goal of Blastbeats Vinyl is to make things accessible as well, right? As you said, you need to go. A lot of times you can't find something. You need to go to the label in Europe and pay $35 in shipping for one record.
Yep.
And that's what I'm trying to solve. So I'm trying to keep that in mind all the time, right? That I want to have stuff for the collectors too. I really do. They're the most helpful people out there. But at the same time, I keep in mind that these are the hardcore collectors usually, and I want to make it more accessible. And this is why I'm trying to grow that community. Again, it's don't be a gatekeeper. I want to make it accessible. I don't want people to feel like they need to have any special knowledge or a huge collection of 1,000 records that are all super rare to say that, to feel eligible to buy a record,
Yeah.
Yeah, you said that you only started this last March, so it's not even a year old yet.
Exactly.
Wow. I thought it was like at least a couple years at this point, but maybe, I don't know, maybe it hasn't. Time blends together sometimes for a while.
Yeah,
But
dude.
I mean, your presence like on Instagram, 9 times out of 10 when I open my Instagram, I have like a sponsored Blastbeats vinyl thing, and I'm like, oh cool, I want that and that and that. And like, so I would say you're very good at getting the shop exposed to where people can find it, because that's very hard to do, to stand out on social media like that.
I will say that that's the what I did bring to Blastbeat. I don't know anything about the music industry or didn't have any connections to any labels, right? It was all cold calling everyone saying, hey, I'm starting this new shop. Can I work with you? But my background is in online marketing, right? That's what I do with my day job.
Oh,
So, for the past 20 plus years.
that now makes a whole lot of sense.
That does make a lot of sense.
That's awesome, man. Because like Ryan just said, the same thing with me and my Instagram. It's like the shit's calling to me like, "Oh, check this out." And like you were saying earlier too about like if it's an import, it's even more appealing because I just saved, $30 cuz I don't have to order it from fucking Germany or something.
Yeah, and this was also, a learning process. I didn't know that if the imports could really make it work. But and definitely getting the connections. That's I think was probably the biggest challenge, right? Getting the connections into the labels. Having the money to buy, all of them have some sort of a minimum, and you have a limited resources, and you have minimums that you have to spend. You don't know whether or not you're going to sell it. I think these are kind of the biggest challenges when you do that.
It's very risky. Did you have to like put anything up?
Oh yeah, the way that I started it is I brought some money from home to begin with. I agreed with my wife on the amount. I said, that's how much money I'm going to put into this. Let's see how it goes. Um, I took a business credit card with a zero APR introduction fees and just maxed the shit out of that credit card.
Hell yeah, dude. 0% ARP. Got to get it quick.
Yeah, gotta get it quick and just max it out. And every dime that I made went back into inventory.
Man, that's awesome.
So, and and we just crossed that line of being
profitable.
profitable. So
Fuck
I'm
yeah,
happy.
congratulations, man.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, that is awesome. And I will say the online marketing thing makes sense because I think I even said this to you yesterday. Like all of your pictures of things, your videos of things, the boxing videos and all that stuff, it is all presented very well. Like when you have a release coming out and you have like I'm not sure if some of them are real life pictures or if they're digital mock-ups behind them. But the backdrops and stuff that you put on the pictures, like everything is very appealing and it stands out amongst just a picture of a record.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, and some of them, it's a combination, by the way. AI is becoming so good, so it's hard to know when some of the photos are the mock-ups, and what are the real ones.
Yeah.
The ones I sent you yesterday, by the way, and we can talk about that specific album at some point, but the ones I sent you yesterday these are not digital mock-ups. These are photos that I take here in the small studio. But it's important, right? I mean, you want things to appeal. You want them to be presented in an aesthetic way. Trying to convey a message that we pack vinyl, and how we pack vinyl, how we treat vinyl. And people are also curious about what other people's selections are, right? It's interesting.
Yeah.
If someone want to know what other people are buying. So we're creating these videos for like those the opposite of unpacking videos, right? Of us packing the packages.
Yeah, they're packing videos.
Yeah, that's tight.
It is cool though because it makes not only the person because I've seen a lot of times like somebody will be in the comment section and they're like, "Hey, that was my order." So it makes them feel cool, but it also, like you said, people want to know what other people are buying, and then you probably get this to where somebody sees that and they're like, "Oh, I didn't know he had that. I got to get that now."
Yeah, absolutely. It's great for everyone, and we're getting a lot of requests. That my favorite part about this is getting those comments in the orders, right? Every time you place an order, you can put on comments. So people write, some people write crazy shit. A lot of people just ask for their order to be videoed.
Oh, you can request to have it videoed? That's cool.
Oh, we're getting a lot, way more than we can handle.
Yeah, I would imagine
That's
actually.
a good thing, man. That's fucking great.
Honestly, there's probably people that are ordering that are like, "Man, I could get this here, but I want to get it from Blastbeats."
Yeah, to
because
get a video.
They're gonna make a video of
For
it.
sure.
Yeah, I'm doing my best to do it because it's great. It makes everyone feel great. I love it. It's great for it's great for the store. It's great for the customers. And I love doing that. So trying to get as many as I can.
Yeah, and I like when you get an order from you, there's like stickers in there. There's a little like thank you card from you and your wife, and it just all feels very like personal when you get an order from you versus where you get an order from like a big company and you just get a receipt or an invoice or whatever.
Yeah, look, I think there's still a lot more to do. I have a lot of different ideas, And my wife is more of the sensible between the two of us. If it if it was up to me, Blastbeats vinyl wouldn't make a dime. It wouldn't be profitable, and I would spend all the money that we make on giving back in amazing mail day use case. So she's more sensible, but have a lot of different ideas on how to make it feel more personal. But to be honest, the goal at the end of the day is just trying to replicate that feeling of a local record store online. And I really believe that the key for that is that community.
Yeah, you're definitely on the right path, and I think you're 100% right on that. And it's going to serve you well, like, long term, because you're not even on, like, a first year yet, or you're just coming up on it, and you're already pretty far and above beyond what somebody who would be a little less online experienced would be. And, like, your passion for metal in general helps drive that, so it's a good combination of the two.
Yeah, and look, at the same time, I don't feel like it's a competition, I feel like we need more. My
Oh, I think you'll start. I mean, other people have done stuff sort of similar, but I think you'll kind of set off a little trend, at least in the metal community, for other people to be like, "Well, I want to do this," even if it's just bands.
Well, the fact that you're in the black after less than a year, like that alone is mind blowing to me. Small businesses usually take, longer than that to like start making a little money.
The good news is that nowadays it's much easier to do, right? I do this. I have a day job, very busy. I can do this from home for the most part. You have services like, Shopify helps a lot, right? You can automate a lot of shit with Shopify. Even a lot of the back office accounting stuff that, we don't know anything about. There are a lot of services that help you. So I think there is no better time to start such a business than today.
I would agree. And just comparing like a brick and mortar store to an online store, there's a lot of similarities, but a lot of differences too. Like what you said earlier about like trying to figure out how many to order of something, I'm always struggling with that.
Yeah, it's on you. And brick and mortar. What is your process?
I don't know. We live in sort of a smaller city, so like we know a lot of our customers, at least on a first name basis. So I usually like reach out to people and I'll be like, this is coming out, and like people that I know something's in their wheelhouse. And then I kind of gauge off of that and I'll get a few extra based on, just popularity of the artist, or a lot of times I'll go and listen to it to see, because, some people will be like, well, I only like stuff that sounds like this, or I only like this that sounds like that, or whatever it is. So if it's in that wheelhouse and I know I can pitch it.
Brick and mortar is my dream, to be honest. That's it's we're just talking about it, like,
Yeah, that would be awesome
yeah.
if you could make a brick and mortar store, that would be sweet.
Yeah, I want maybe one day, like we were just talking about it. My, Ronnie, my wife and partner here on Blastbeats asked me like, hey, we win the Powerball. What do you do?
Make a brick and mortar store.
That's great.
Yeah, that would be really cool, especially since you said there's not really any metal stores or record stores in general in your area.
Yeah, look, if I had to do something, I'd probably do it in Brooklyn or something like that, because in this area, like it would be abandoned.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of things that people didn't do yet. Like, one of the ideas that I had is, why don't we do a touring store, like Blastbeats Vinyl on tour? Let's get an RV, get all the records in an RV, and go to places, and let's get fucking local bands to perform, some parking lots, and we'll just move from town to town,
Yeah,
right?
That would be awesome, but it actually has been done.
I was gonna say I know some people that have done that, and it's awesome,
Well,
actually.
Jack White did it with Third Man
Wow.
Records.
Rick to Life did it and ripped off a bunch of shit too, but that's beside the point.
Yeah, but Third Man Records out of Detroit, and he has a plant in Nashville as well. They have a touring record store, and like he'll do like pop-up performances and stuff.
That sounds awesome. I need to find out more.
Yeah, I've tried to reach out to him to see if I can get I don't know if they do like requests, but I was like, hey, it'd be cool if you could drive the RV from Detroit to here because it's only like a few hours north.
Interesting.
But they never
Yeah.
got back to me, so I don't think it's going to happen. But they are a really great company. Say if you like had an RV and you were going to like, Milwaukee Metal Fest and all these different metal festivals, and you just set up there like as if you were a food truck per se,
That's a
but
dream
you're a
job.
record store. I mean, that would be amazing.
That would be amazing. But, this is more of like, trying to do vending gigs. I don't know. But, I was thinking like, can we actually have it as a touring store, right?
Right.
Um, um, Meet people, again, it's just about the community and the local bands. There are so many local bands that I'll never get to see live, right? And see what people like and whatnot. And it's going to be a good experience for them as well, right? I mean, you have an RV truck that comes and all of a sudden with all these imports and variants from Europe. That would be amazing.
Yeah, dude, it would be fucking crazy if it just popped up out of nowhere. Be like, what? Ice cream truck for record nerds, dude.
Yeah.
I seen an announcement on your Facebook about whacking metal battles for Philadelphia, and it didn't really describe exactly what it was. What was that about? Are you a judge in is it like a battle of the bands type of thing?
Yes. So, there's the Wacken or Wacken
Yeah,
festival in Germany.
yeah,
And there's and every country there's going to be one band which represents each country, and there's kind of a battle of the bands beforehand for each country. And the US being so big, it starts local, and then there's going to be a national selection process. So I'm one of the judges for Philadelphia.
that,
There are going to be 6 bands. It's going to be 3 nights. And it sounds pretty awesome.
yeah. I was looking at the updated flyer with the bands right now. I've heard of Desolation, but I've never listened to any of the other bands. But that is
I
really
didn't
cool.
even. Yeah, it's really cool. I'm excited about this. I mean, one of the things, when I talked to one of the organizers, when she asked me to judge, I said, it's going to be really hard for me to be a judge with local bands. I have so much, with local bands, usually have so much respect and love for them that
Yeah,
it doesn't matter.
you don't want to feel like you're putting one down by
Yeah,
judging one over the other.
exactly.
Yeah.
I feel like that sometimes, even when I like post shit on Instagram. It's like I'm not trying to leave anybody out, but you know what I mean? You only can post so much in, one
I
day.
feel like that when we make like the best of lists.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, damn, I don't want to leave off this, and this.
And we could have made like 10 different ones, like based on genre or based on, I don't know. Yeah, and you're right. My list could be 10 different ones today.
I totally get it. I couldn't do the list. I just couldn't get myself, and especially in 23 was such an amazing year for
Fuck
music.
yeah, it was.
So it was really hard to make that list.
You were talking about a new release. What was that all about?
Yeah. So it's actually pretty exciting. I'm really excited about this. So the label is Fiat Productions. They're a black metal label, and they're releasing for the first time on vinyl Wild and Woe for the Good of the Realm, which has been only released on cassettes on tape until now, and it's going to be the first time on vinyl, and we're going to be the exclusive distributors of it. And we worked very closely with them on the release, and it's going to be limited to 100 copies, and all of them are going to be hand numbered. And it's a really exciting one because first that album is fucking amazing. I highly recommend listening to it. It actually appeared on a lot of people's top 10 lists for 23. When you'll see the artwork, you'll recognize it most likely.
Yeah, I actually listened to it twice so far. When we were talking about it yesterday, I listened to it while I was making dinner, and then I listened to it this morning again too.
I haven't heard it yet. I have no excuse.
No, Cool. You listen to it, but it's the style is castle metal, right? And when you listen to it, it's just what it is, right? You just imagine yourself holding a sword, being in the castle. But what I like about this album is that even though it's kind of in a certain genre, it's actually very diversified in terms of the guitar playing. You have your more classic black metal trem runs and blast beats. But then you have those riffs which really sound like old fucking Dissection. And it's all very melodic and it's really just an amazing album.
Yeah, I agree with that 100% because it does, like I was talking yesterday and I mentioned a band called Obsequiae. They have like sort of a synth kind of dungeon synth element to them almost at some points. And when I read Castle Metal, that's kind of what I was expecting, but it has that element to it, but like you said, there's a more melodic metal element to it as well, and I really like it. I thought it was a good album.
Yeah, and and they're great people. Like Jeff Young from Wilden Woe is one of the nicest people, and if you'll follow him on Instagram, he posts a lot of videos of himself, and this guy is just it's full of talent and just one of the nicest people, and he really does what he does with a lot of passion. And Fiat Productions, is a label. I couldn't have asked for a better partner here. That as I said, we only started in March, right? For a label to say, hey, we're gonna do an exclusive with you, and also we're gonna have a bigger partnership. We also have a few more releases lined up, and we're gonna be their exclusive distributor for a few releases, and and that's big.
Yeah,
Oh
that's
yeah,
Um,
that's
huge,
huge
man.
for. I mean, that combined with being a judge for the Battle of the Bands Viking thing. I mean, yeah, you're on a great year or a great year first year. I'm sorry.
yeah, look, it's going well, more than expected, but I think more importantly, it's that it's meeting a lot of great people along the way, making a lot of new friends, and learning a lot about this. Like Fiat Productions is not your typical black metal label that you would expect. The owner is probably one of the hardest working people there, and when it's Barry, it's a woman. We need more women in metal. Let's start with that, right? So, female-owned business. She runs the label by herself, 100%. From selecting the bands to making the releases to the artwork down to packing all the orders herself until recently. And she adds stuff like, for Wild and Woe, for the cassettes, she hand painted like tiny swords to add to the cassettes.
Holy shit.
Oh, that's cool.
Um, and she's just amazing. She's really hardworking. She does it all out of love. She has values that resonates with me, especially. She has these amazing shirts of "Be kind to animals, listen to black metal."
Oh yeah, I've
Uh,
seen those.
I have too.
they're amazing, and I like it when someone comes and challenges us.
Right. And so you're doing your own Blastbeats vinyl variant for that release then. I mean, that's the only variant.
It's the only variant, right? You can only get it through Blastbeats vinyl and some copies from the band when they tour.
Okay. Where is the label based out of? I don't know if you said and I missed.
She's East Coast, so here in New York.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's in US.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. When does that release? You said on Tuesday?
So we're going to announce it Tuesday
Okay.
on Instagram. Gonna see some photos of that variant, and it goes up on sale on Friday next week, 10 a.m. Eastern.
Okay, cool. When we post the episode, we'll have links in the episode description to all your online store and social media and all that stuff. So
Hell yeah.
anybody listening that's interested, go click the links down there and then follow him and go purchase If not that album, I'm guaranteeing you'll find something else on the store.
That would be awesome. Very helpful. Thank you so much.
So, what are like in the last year that you've been doing this, or 9 months? What are some of your highest selling titles on the label? Or I'm sorry, the store. I keep saying
So
label.
I would say,
It's a habit. I'm sorry.
you know what? It's a sign. I should start a label. I think, just because it's online, we have a lot of data and stuff. So I think I usually make the difference between the fastest selling versus the best selling, right? Because it's also a function of whether or not how many copies I could get and whether or not I could restock something. But, I would say that the fastest things that just sold very quickly are usually Nessie. So I don't know if we thought this is Nessie's. Ryan, you're familiar with that, but it's for those who are not, it's a Chinese label that does these very amazing reissues, which are targeted for the Asian market, but we could get some of them here.
Like those Cannibal Corpse ones?
Yeah, they did Blood Incantation too and a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah, that shit looks fucking dope.
And you know what? No photo will ever do justice with these releases. And luckily enough, it's the first label I ever worked with. He's the first label that said, "Yeah, I'll work with you." And when he shipped, I never had a Nessie before, before the store. Someone just recommended to check his things. And when you hold this in your hand and you see just the kind of stock paper he's using, those really heavyweight vinyl records, the artwork, and then talking more and more with the guy from Nessie, I realized this guy, he's a little bit insane. He's so
good.
It is. He's so obsessed about the work. He told me stories about how much money he spent just throwing things away because it wasn't pixel perfect and he wasn't happy with it. I was like, I don't know if you're genius or the stupidest man I ever
Right.
thought. I like the end product.
Yeah, I've never gotten any of his albums, but I've seen some amazing photos, and if, like you said, the photos don't do it justice, I'm sure they look phenomenal in person.
Yeah, it's mostly kind of, more than the vinyl record itself. It's just the artwork, the stock paper that he's using. Everything is just perfect. And I have a really good relationship with them, and I was able to put out some pretty rare stuff from them, things which have been sold out for a while, and those just sell very quickly.
Yeah, every time I go on your site, they're always sold out.
Yeah, usually these are the kind of things that we'll do a drop. We want to give, equal opportunity to everyone. I don't give no friends and family access or anything like that. I just want to, everyone to have a fair chance. So
Right.
we just, it's going to go up 10 a.m. on that day. And usually a lot of them, the most popular ones, it doesn't matter if even if I get, tens of copies of them, some of them will just sell out quickly. But, proper releases, I would say that the top three would be Rivers of Nihil, Where Owls Know My Name. And I think it's very justified because this album is just fucking amazing.
Yep, I agree. That's the one with the green cover, right?
With the green cover.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're getting the variant that we're getting is from Germany. We're importing it. So it wasn't available in the US for a while. And then when it was a different variant. And this one's just so nice looking. So I think it's very justified that this album is one of the top sellers. Second would probably be Fires in the Distance, Are Not Meant for Us, which was selling very nicely the beginning of the year when we just started. And then I got to do an exclusive with Prosthetic Records later, and that sold out. And what we just talked about, Ryan, Silver Aeon. So Silver Aeon is definitely one of the best sellers. I just keep restocking it and just sells out every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That's amazing, man.
I was really happy to find the first Stormkeep album on the site. Like, I'd been trying to track that down for a while,
Yeah,
and
that's
they
another
were
one.
like always in Germany. And I hate shipping from there because it's such a long journey for a single record to travel, and the chances of it getting dinged up are like pretty high. When Tales of the Other Time came out and I ordered that, it comes with that. I don't know if you have the record copy, but it comes with a big fold out map, and it was like too heavy for the record jacket. But they put it inside the record jacket, and when I got it, it was all bent like crazy. Like the record was fine, but the jacket was bent in like a million places. And then they ended up sending me one that could have survived like a war because they packaged it so well, and then just replaced it. But it was after that happening a few times, I was like, man, I don't want to chance that again all the way from Germany.
I'm still waiting for the repress.
Oh, of Tales of Other Time?
Yes.
I got the CD and the vinyl when they came out, thankfully, because they sold fast.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
we
got the
both have a copy of it actually.
Yeah, I gave Jeremy my damaged jacket.
Yeah, I was like, I don't give
I
a
was
fuck,
like, here
man.
you
I
go.
just
You
want
can
to
have
hear
this
it.
for free.
That's awesome. You got the red variant.
Yep, it's like red and kind of smoky a little.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And the bonus disc is the shit. I love the bonus disc with the CD.
Yeah, the CD has like a Dungeon Synth CD that comes with. It's like a whole separate album, basically. I think they did a cassette release of it down the road.
Really?
Yeah.
It's interesting. Did not know that. I'm just writing down. I need to check this out.
Yeah, and like you've heard the album, obviously. So
Yeah.
the couple tracks that have Dungeon Synth intros, there's another. I think it's 6 tracks. There's another CD, and it's only included in the CD. It's not with the record, but it's 6 more songs that are all Dungeon Synth songs, and I can't remember what the name of it was. I believe you can find it on Bandcamp and stuff to listen to it.
The hard copies were limited to what, 100?
999.
Okay, 1,000.
Because they're all hand numbered on the back.
Yeah.
That's a lot of hand numbering.
I know.
Fuck
like,
yeah.
it's funny because I've seen pictures of like 100s, and then I've seen pictures of like the 700s, and you can see where the numbers get a little more relaxed, like later on in the numbering. I'm like, man, I hope they didn't try that in one sitting.
Yeah, well, I'll talk to Ronnie, my wife, about that. She was just complaining about the 100 we just did for Wild and Woe.
Yeah, try 1,000.
Yeah. I mean, they might have had a handful of people doing it too, so you never know. But yeah, even 100 is, I mean, that's a lot of numbering. And what if you accidentally forget what number you're on and you like do 2 number 23s or something, and it throws your whole count off?
It throws you off. Yeah, that's a problem. So, now with these, luckily I was able, I did the sticker, so I was able to just number them before we put them on
Oh, yeah, that works.
on the sleeve. But with others, sometimes they come with the hype sticker from the factory, from the plant. And then you actually need to number it on the records themselves. So if you screw up, you really screw up.
Yeah, and then you get one scribbled out or whatever.
Yeah.
I always I like that, like when you ship something, it's in an open jacket already, like a poly bag instead of it being sealed. I always prefer that with records. Like whenever you order from Relapse, they always ship things already in a poly bag and not overly tight shrink wrap and all the other issues that can occur there.
See, I like it. I don't like that.
What, the poly bags?
I mean, it doesn't. I would rather have them sealed.
I don't like it because you get more corner bends that way.
I mean, I get that. I understand that too. It's just, I guess, I don't know.
I don't know, it's all preference.
I love this debate,
Like I know you do this too. Like on a sealed record, like I always cut out my hype stickers.
Oh, yeah,
I
definitely.
stick them in the record jacket and then re-sleeve it in like a different sleeve.
Now, but I will say this, with the Relapse releases, like all the Integrity ones, it's cool that the sleeve has the hype sticker on it, and I guess I could put the hype sticker on all of the other. I don't know.
Well,
We'll talk about this after the episode.
yeah. Well, I was gonna mention something since we were talking about hype stickers. I have a friend who owns a record label, and he makes his own hype stickers, and he's always trying to do different things. So he made these stickers one time out of them. I don't know what the material was. It felt kind of like canvas a little bit, but you can take the sticker off of the sealed record or the poly bag for it and put it different places. Like it re-sticks as many times as you want within reason. I mean, as long as you don't get it dirty or whatever. But you can move it around the record jacket and stuff. I thought that was really cool.
Was that on a Ty Ferris album?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this sounds pretty cool. Yeah, I don't know, with the shrink versus the outer sleeve and the disc outside of the jacket, I'm torn about this.
I'll tell you real quick. I used to store all of mine outside, the records all outside of the jacket, just because I didn't want to fuck up the outer. And I did it like that, I don't know, for a long time. And then I saw an older gentleman on YouTube, a part of like the vinyl community on there, and he had a Germs record, an original Germs album, which is completely black with a blue circle. And he was like, I've had it in this sleeve and inside of this jacket for the entire time since he bought it, and it was like perfect. And so to save on space,
It does
For
take up more
storage,
I keep
space.
them in there. Yeah.
For storage, I store all my records outside the jacket, and I replace the sleeve right when I get it. For storage and in my own collection, that's definitely what I do. For what I prefer from the label, that's a question. I think when it's sealed with a shrink, sometimes it packs a little better. It actually prevents some movement because when you have the outer sleeve, sometimes you have more movement.
Which can
Because,
Games.
the split seams are a real thing. It happens. I get a lot of requests to open the shrink and ship it with the disc outside of the jacket. The only thing that I keep saying is sometimes I never ask for that when I buy records, only because I know that if there is a split seam, the store owner already received that jacket with that split seam because that record moved from the plant to the label, and from the label probably a few other places, and then to the store. The split seam already happened. It's not going to happen from the store to
Right, I
customer,
follow.
most likely.
Yep. I've had that happen a
Like
bunch
no
of times.
glue on
Like,
it or
there's
something.
nothing, not even that. Is you'll get like little frayings at the top, or like just the smallest. It's just from when they were shipping them. They came in a box of however many, and they're all moving around.
Yeah, and you want the jackets to be as perfect as possible. So
Yeah, especially since I mean, like you pride yourself in like presenting your company very well, so you don't want to have seam splits go out to people, but a lot of people like will examine everything before they ship it out, where like bigger companies they'll just ship it out.
yeah, look, vinyls are not cheap, right? The prices are not, it's only getting more and more expensive, and people are paying their hard-earned money, so they
Yeah,
need to get the
yeah, and plus it sets up repeat business and good word of mouth.
Yeah, if
exactly.
anybody's gonna fuck up the record jacket, it's gonna be me.
Yeah. So I know you got to get going here soon to start packing up mail orders before your post office deadline. So one final question before we wrap things up. But we always ask people this on the podcast, and since your store is revolving around metal, we ask, what is something that you listen to that people would not expect you to listen to?
Well, maybe people as in clients, all my friends and family know that I like this shit, but it's Disney soundtrack.
Oh, that
Okay.
is a good one,
That
dude.
is a good one, especially since you run an extreme music
Metal,
store.
yeah, dude.
Disney soundtracks, and especially very specifically Aladdin.
Okay.
Oh shit, new school. I do like the Bambi soundtrack.
I like Hercules. I mean, everybody's got their Disney soundtrack, I guess.
One day I'll record the Aladdin soundtrack in a metal version. Like every time I listen to this shit, I keep imagining guitar solos over it. I have the solos in my head already.
Yeah,
That
dude.
would be really cool, actually. Do like a little remix.
Send
Except
me a clip when you get that done, man. I want to hear that shit.
you'd have to change it just enough that Disney wasn't aware.
Oh yeah, dude.
Because
They'll
they'd be
knocking
all
on
over
your
that.
door.
For Frozen, for Let It Go, there are a lot of metal covers which are amazing.
Yeah, I've heard a whole bunch of different metal covers, which is, I think they're funny. Like just to hear like some dude doing extreme gutturals over "Let It Go."
I guess I haven't checked those.
All you gotta do is YouTube Frozen metal cover, and
Yeah,
you'll find
boom.
like 100 of them. It's all over the place. It was like a trend
Yeah,
for
but
a
you know,
while.
wasn't it? I think Make Them Suffer made a Frozen cover, which was amazing. Was it Make Them Suffer? I think it was.
I can't think of any of the bands off the top of my head that I haven't looked at any since like shortly after the movie came out.
Oh, you know, it was Betraying the Martyrs.
Oh,
They
okay.
did amazing cover. Seriously, like really good.
I'll check it out when we finish up here, actually. But yeah,
Yeah,
Disney soundtracks is a great answer to that. Some people's answers aren't always all that shocking, so that is a good one.
I don't know. It's just good music.
No, I like it. I like getting a little, you get that little insight into, because everybody's got something that they like that's outside of, like, even if you're like, yeah, I'm a metalhead, I'm like, yeah, but there's got to be like one thing that you like
Yeah,
outside
you
that,
can't
like,
just listen to one thing all
even
the
if it's
time.
just a song, like, you're a sucker
So,
for Mambo number 5 or something, like, I don't know.
but look, I have to admit though, you know, it's like life is too short. You have very limited amount of time to listen to music. I prefer that 99% of that would be metal any day.
And that's what you love, and then obviously, like, you're building a great business off of it, so your love has served you well.
And I am a happy customer, man, for sure. I think I've gotten 3 titles from you.
Yeah, I don't
I
know.
I appreciate it, man.
Oh,
Yeah,
we appreciate it, dude.
I'm always telling people on Instagram about your store and sharing your stuff and trying to, do whatever I can to help people be aware. And I know there was Mike Score actually commented on one of the photos where I linked your website, and he's the singer for the band All Out War. And he was like, "Oh, I just ordered from there," so that was cool.
That's really awesome. I love, you know, if there are names in the orders that I recognize, I love it. It's you know, it feels good.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely.
Especially since you get people that you might be a fan of their band, and you're like, "Holy crap, that guy's ordering from my store."
Yeah, absolutely.
So it makes
And
you feel like
eh,
you're doing your part, giving back. That's
and
how
making
I feel with records, at least.
absolutely. And you know, making a lot of new friends and discovering new music, and so it's all good.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, do you have anything else you want to get off before we wrap this up here?
No, I really just, you know, to thank you guys for the opportunity of talking with me. I know you guys are doing a lot of interviews with a lot of interesting people, so it's really an honor to be here.
Well, thank you for jumping on, man.
Yeah, thank you. And we were very much looking forward to hearing about Blastbeats, and I'm looking forward to everything that you have coming out this year. And I'll continue to keep telling people about the store
I'll
Thanks so much.
continue to be a customer.
and that for sure. But
All
all right,
right.
man. You
If we ever fuck up, just let me know, okay? I need to know.
Yeah.
Okay.
all right. You have a good weekend, and thank you again.
And thanks, guys.
Yep.